Okay, so Power Morphicon is already done and dusted, and I had over 2 weeks to go before I left to come back home here in Australia. I went to a whole bunch of different places. I went to McDonald's, I went to KFC, man that was horrible. Popeye's Chicken, that was even worse. Denny's, Wendy's, there was an Armenian chicken joint called Zanku Chicken there on Colorado Boulevard. I went to Subway more times than I could count. My only complaint is that they don't have the Chicken Classic. I went to the Wendy's in Alhambra 2 days in a row. The first time around didn't go exactly as planned. I went on the right bus, but I got off at the wrong stop. Had I stayed on that bus one more stop, I would have been right in front of it, but no. It took me over an hour, a couple of phone calls to Teresa, and her looking up Google Maps to find out where I was and where I needed to go. I finally found out what a Vons store was. Turns out it's a supermarket. The Slurpees in America are not as good as in Australia. KFC in America is just bad compared to Australia. The bloody mashed potatoes, potato and gravy, taste like what you get from Red Rooster. And then finally, Friday comes along, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have a look and go out and experience the nightlife of Pasadena. So I go to old Pasadena, where apparently everybody goes to. Yeah, I just walked. I had a look around. I saw a Baskin Robbins, so naturally I went in there, and I came up with a concoction. 2 scoops. You should try it. Choc chip and rainbow sherbet. After I was done there, I decided to go to this place called Barney's Beanery. Now the only reason why I went in there in the first place is because it had a karaoke sign at the front of it, and I figured, you know what, I'm gonna give that a go. So I go up to the top level. There's 3 levels, I'd find out later, and up on the top floor there are a whole bunch of pool tables, and it was there that I met 3 Hispanic people. I remember one of their names, Eduardo. I don't know why, but I tried a Budweiser, and for those of you who know me pretty well, you'll know that I dislike beer with a passion. So after about 3 or 4 of those, I played a couple of games with Eduardo and his friends. I remember one of his friends telling me that he went to Perth one time and he surfed there, which I found kind of odd, but then again, I've never been to Perth. Then they ask if I wanted to go with them to this other bar, and I'm like, well, sure, whatever. So we go up to Lake Avenue, but it was more of a Spanish bar, I believe. I really don't know. They had me try a Corona with a lemon, and beer's beer. I hate beer. Man, I hate beer. They dropped me off back at the Travel Lodge, and I felt really bad, and I still do. It's been over 5 months since that happened. It's because I could have very easily given them, what, maybe 20 bucks for gas, but I never did it. So I wound up going to Barney's Beanery again the following Friday so I could find them. But I couldn't. So after some looking around, I found the iPic Theatre, which is where I watched The Expendables 2. The swankiest cinematic experience I have ever experienced. After that, I went to Baskin Robbins again and tried the 2-scoop concoction that I created the week before. And then I went to Barney's Beanery again, thinking that I would find Eduardo, but I never did. Then I found out where the karaoke was. For some reason, I'm trying Budweiser again, and man, I'm sick of it. So finally, I ask a cute little bartender there, have you got any rum? And she goes through a whole list, and then I heard Malibu. And then I said yes. So I had to go at 3 songs. The first song I sang, Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. Then after that I tried Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang and butchered that so bad. There's an entire verse in the thing that I didn't even know existed. And then finally, Rock With You by Michael Jackson. I remember after heading off from Barney's Beanery one time, I think it may have been the Friday, there was a guy out in an alleyway right next to Barney's Beanery with playing the bongo drums, and there was another guy who had a recorder, and they were kind of jamming with each other there, and that was good. But then there was this rather large African American man grooving along of his own volition and barking like a dog every time a rather attractive lady walks by. I walked down the road a little bit, and there's this place called Jake's. I may have had a good buzz, but damned it, that would probably have to be the best burger I had in the United States, with a side of chips and a large Sprite in a big red cup. It was just a great way to finish off what was an interesting and quite enjoyable evening. So I go to Barney's Beanery the following night. I had another go, 3 goes in fact, at the karaoke, you know, because I managed to rock the house down every time I do. I had a go at Jump by Criss Cross, The Floor by Johnny Gill, and The Wild Wild West by Will Smith. So Sunday I pretty much did nothing. You know, I wasn't hungover, but I wanted to be well rested for this thing on Monday, because, you know, I was leaving. But that's where we're going to stop it for now, people. You want to know why? Because in part 8, I'm homeward bound.